Welcome to my I recommend of 2022. So I have another channel that talks about media, and that's on the burner. But right now, what I want to do for my own channel is just the pieces I've drawn, because every year on my Instagram I release, hey, I'm gonna start releasing like media I've liked every year. So for 2022, this is gonna be my list. It's gonna show the drawings, and I'm gonna talk about how I feel about the show. Okay. Starting first is Andor, which is I would rank number 10 of my I recommend for 2022. Andor, I thought was a great show. I thought it was really nice. Sets were cool, and I really liked how small they kept it. You know, they kept it like it's not the biggest thing in the world. It's not gonna end everything, or it's not super epic. And my favorite part about the show is there were no lightsabers in it, and it's just it's just good sci-fi, which is gonna sound controversial, but I wish The Mandalorian was, because The Mandalorian, I believe, fell off after season 1. I think season 1 was perfect. It was one of my favorite shows ever. But after that, season 2 basically became The Mandalorian, or Friends and The Mandalorian. Mando wasn't even the main focus of the show anymore. He became a side character in his own show, which is very sad. So for this, I kind of want to draw his gun, because I really liked. I forgot. Is it Andor? Is that the name? Or I don't know. I really like his gun. I thought it was great. Besides that, like, the show is a fresh breath of air, and I'm just really happy with how good it turned out of a show. At first I was just kind of not getting into it, but overall I liked it. I think the prison arc in the show is great, and it just like puts a part of the Star Wars universe you've never seen before. Plus, the fact that there's no lightsabers in this is great. Finally, some Star Wars media without lightsabers. I mean, I guess Han Solo, but it's Han Solo. It wasn't the greatest thing. This show was mature. It felt like there's actual consequences, and I was intrigued by it the whole time. It didn't overstep, and it didn't overindulge. I believe my only complaint with the show is that I didn't really connect with anybody throughout the whole thing. That's my only complaint. But like, if you're watching it from like, oh, this could be taken as kind of like I don't even know. Like one of those like historical drama shows where like you're not really meant to connect with the characters, you're just meant to see like, hey, what actions were taken and what took place, then I think it's going to be a great show. But me personally, I really like following one character along. And I mean, you do follow Andor's the name of the guy, right? Am I tripping? It's been a while since I've seen it. I kind of went into this unprepared, but I'm just gonna say Andor. But since you do follow Andor, he's cool. But I mean, like, there's some other characters that I liked way more. And overall, that's like what's kind of keeping this at the bottom of the list. And that's not to say it's not good. It's great. If you're a Star Wars fan, you will love this. You will enjoy it. But you just have to know you have to be patient with it. It's not action all the time. And that's kind of why when I drew this little poster for it, I didn't want to show his face, because, well, I'm not. I just thought it would be cool not to show his face. I'm not gonna say, oh, the deeper meaning is because I didn't emotionally feel connected to him. I didn't have a personal connection with him. Nah, it's just cool. So I hope to see Andor season 2. I hope it comes out. I hope it keeps the same quality as this, because if it does, woo, it will be nice. And this show gave me some hope for Star Wars, but then The Mandalorian season 3 came out, and my hope died. And yeah. All right, I don't want to talk about stuff that bums me. I want to talk about stuff that I like. So check out the show. Damn, I did not time this right. I'm just going on a rant here, guys. I don't think I'll ever make like I want to try, but I don't. Whatever. Yeah, but pretty good show. I'm just repeating myself at this point because I'm waiting for it to pause so I can put a little bit of music, a little itsy bitsy bit of music. This took a while to make, surprisingly, especially with I don't know, it just took a while to make, which I was genuinely surprised about, but I really like the end result of it. I think it shows a pretty cool side of the show. I think it would intrigue some people. Yeah. All right. And for now, that's it. All right, and next up, number 9 would be Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, this film, pretty bueno. Pretty good, I'd say. And honestly, I have no complaints about this one. Actually, no, I do have one gripe with it. It was more of at the end, I don't know, I felt like the whole daughter acceptance gay thing was, personally for me, I just thought, I don't know, I thought it felt a little forced, but it wasn't bugging me so much. I gotta turn off the TV. Oh, no, it was fine. It was whatever. But besides that, like, the true heart in the story of this is definitely, about family. And the main reason I love this film, it's like a film against nihilism. Because personally, I hate nihilistic people. I don't think nihilistic people are that fun to be around. I think having a nihilistic mindset is very bad for you, my friend. You should not have a nihilistic mindset. You will be lame. You'll be called cringe by everybody. And this film basically, sorry about the chair creaking. This film basically goes against nihilistic messages, especially in a lot of new films today, that I feel that they're not hopeful in any way. A lot of media is like, oh, my main character sucks, my main character is suffering and all that. And that's why I thought the Short Round, the actor for Short Round in Indiana Jones, the husband in this film, was great, because to me he represents what strength is, and that is, it's not physically, you're not physically strong, you're just mentally you're strong, and you keep putting up with things, and because you love it, and you'll still keep putting up with those things. And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful message. This film has like a lot of watch value, especially, and I think stands as the best multiversal film out there. Like, I'm not a fan of multiverses, especially when it comes to comic characters, or like comics in general. I just don't think multiverses are good, because it kind of says, hey, your main story does not matter. But this film, there's a reason for the multiverse, because it sticks in with the whole message of, oh, I could have been this, I could have been that, I could have been everything else. Which a lot of people, they always think, hey, I could be this, I could be that if I didn't screw up. But at the end of the day, all you have is the people around you, and you just have to appreciate that. You can't think of what and whens and who's and where's. You just have to think of now and who's around you. Absolutely beautiful film. I would definitely recommend it to everybody. It is great. There's a lot of heart put into it, and you can clearly tell from and the direction is, it's got funny humor too. It's got inappropriate humor, so you're watching with someone who's not too much into this kind of shock humor, then they might not like it that much, but I think it'll be good. And then I decided to draw, oh my gosh, I forgot what they named her in the films, like I don't know, the Joro something, Jaborbor, I have no clue. But I'm glad I really liked her scenes, because every time she showed up is she would do an action and she would change, and I would imagine that was hard as hell to film. But it seems like it would be a fun film to be in too. Yeah, so I wanted to draw her, kind of show the all the eyeballs with that one cover where like everything is like eyeballs, and then I wanted to write the stuff in the back so you kind of know that it's this film, because I don't think people would really pick up on the fact that, oh, it's a blank character, because I'm like combining like a poster and a very specific scene in the movie, because she has so many different outfits. This outfit is from the part with the everything on a bagel. Yeah. So definitely give it a watch. It's good, my friends. Okay, now we're on to spot number 8 on I Recommend of 2022, and that belongs to the Banshees of Inisherin or Inishiren. I'm not Irish. I don't know. It stars Colin Farrell and his buddy. I don't remember his name. Sorry. I should put more research into this, but I'm lazy. It'll appear on screen. This film is basically a very petty friendship breakup, and I love it. If you watch this other film, the director's other film, In Bruges, sorry about the chair squeaking, but if you watched this director's other film, In Bruges, it has a very fantasy-like feel, and I can say the same applies to this film, especially with like, you know, how the people act in the town and everything. It feels like a dream almost, but at the same time, you could be like, yeah, I would imagine living in a community like that would ultimately end up having same interactions. It's great. I love this film. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're looking for like I just want to sit down, relax, maybe eat something and see an interesting film. I wouldn't say you're gonna come out from it like a changed man, but you will come out from it entertained as hell. It's a great film, lots of fun dialogue, and just seeing this discourse among these two former friends, it's just great to see how it unravels. And with that, I believe this drawing's coming to an end. My little process here. Opa, I don't know what I'm saying. Wow, this is still going. I'm cringe for trying to end this earlier than it should. But yeah. I would definitely give this a recommend. As for a rating, I'm not really gonna rate these movies. These are just I recommends according to my taste. This is definitely one if you're a fan of dialogue and you're just a fan of seeing very petty things happen and just in an entertaining way and manner. And that's why in this drawing I wanted to kind of display like one of the scenes that happen in the film. I think I could have done better on the art, but you know, you do what you gotta do. So that is my number 8 spot, Banshees of Inisherin. Now, onto my 7th spot of I recommend for 2022 is that I'd say it got pretty big. It was like a hit anime of 2022, Chainsaw Man. Now, I love the manga, and there's manga, and I don't know. I'm gonna say what I say. You can make fun of me if anyone even watches this video. But also, I put this at like an insane speed because it was a long ass drawing. But Chainsaw Man, I'm not gonna go into the details because this drawing does depict stuff from like part 2 of the manga. But right now I'll just talk about the anime. So that's why I took the number 7th. Let's say if the anime actually covered like what I consider just like the first half of the manga, then I would be much more happy. If it got up to the bomb girl part, Reze, whatever her name is.
then I would be like, okay, this is definitely gonna be like top 3. But you know, it was only 12 episodes, so was it 12? Yeah, sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I just got done with working out. So basically, this anime, the first episode, I have to admit, kind of sucked. The CGI was not great. It was kind of horrendous. But then after that, like the CGI implementation into the anime was pretty well done. Though I've heard that the last episode is not that great. I don't remember it as much, especially with the fight. But I've seen some clips here and there. I'm like, oh yeah, that does not look good at all. So, well, I mean, if you know more about the manga, I think you would understand like the drawing I'm doing here, where the red side is more of it's more akin to a certain character's side, and then the blue side is more for Denji. So that's what's going on. That's why I wanted to contrast like blue and red, whatever. You know, generic colors, who cares? But back to the subject of the anime, I absolutely love Chainsaw Man. I remember reading Chainsaw Man while I watched the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen, and they have similar concepts. And I must say, I definitely prefer Chainsaw Man much more. But if you compare like season 1 of Chainsaw Man to, let's say, Jujutsu, I think Jujutsu may be a little more entertaining, even though I really didn't like it, and that's a whole different topic for another thing. But overall, I think Chainsaw Man was pretty well done, but it wasn't good enough to go any higher on this list. And it's more of a bias because I know what happens later. Like, I know the overall story where I'm like, ooh, you know, you can put together the dots and everything, and I like it much more. But I'd say the angle that they take with like the whole government and demons and all that, it's pretty nifty. And all the, just like Denji just being an absolute degenerate. It's kind of a trait I really like in stories like this, where some of the main characters and their like accomplices are just crazy people. I would give another one, which I love, is Dorohedoro. I think those two they're pretty insane, but they're so entertaining, and you do take their side, and it's just absolutely great. Like, they don't try to ask questions like, is what this guy's doing right? Is right? He's like, he doesn't really care what's right or wrong. He's kind of got a screwed up vision of what's right and wrong. And I definitely put in a lot of effort for this, so I might do a longer video going into stuff that I actually, oh my gosh, write for, but I don't know. Yeah, so overall, Chainsaw Man is pretty great. I love Power as a character. I think she's pretty good. Oh yeah, I remember I changed her. I actually kind of like that first pose I did for her during drawing, but I think I wanted to make her more prominent since she is like a pretty big part of Chainsaw Man. Character designs are also great in this show. It's like simple, but you can recognize each one, and they don't have any overcomplicated designs, I'd say, which is a big no-no for me in my books. Like, especially when it comes to like MCU type stuff, and even new anime stuff, they tend to do that a lot. Yeah, so after I was done filling the background, originally I was going to leave it kind of like just these 3 colors, but then I said, you know what? I want to spice it up a little more. So I decided to basically go over Denji with like some lines and make him pop a little more, you know? And kind of put the contrast, make it opposite so it doesn't get blurred between like the red and the blue in the background. Oh my gosh. It's like flashing almost. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped for season 2. Who knows when it'll come out, because Mappa's making it. Those guys are they're basically slaves at this point. I don't know why they're so insane. I can tell they have a lot of passion, but they're used to CGI. It's like it's either good, like Dorohedoro, or it's horrible. I haven't really seen like that's okay. And talking about CGI in the industry, I think it could be a very good like asset for a lot of shows and make stuff go like faster. But I think it just has to be implemented really well, which is a much harder subject in and of itself, especially with the workload that some studios get. But who knows? And that's it. That's Chainsaw Man. Okay, for number 6 of I recommend for 2022 is The Menu, starring Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy, I believe. Yeah, I love seeing Anya Taylor-Joy in a movie, and Ralph Fiennes, I don't know how to say his name. Every time he's in a movie, he steals the show. So, seeing The Menu, damn, that guy was absolutely great in that. So, I love The Menu. And also there's no drawing background for this, is because it was very short for me to draw this, and I drew it really fast. The hamburger and fries is, just watch the film. You'll see what it's about. But for me, because I like drawing and I like doing all this stuff, it did remind me a lot of like the art world. And I will be real, I have a very big disdain for artists, especially because a lot of artists, they tend to be very they have ego, like a huge ego. They think anything they make is like, oh my gosh, I scribbled on a piece of paper. This is the greatest thing ever. This represents back when I was a child. I tripped over a rock, and then my uncle said, I'm gonna beat you. And this drawing, it represents that. And basically, to me, I just don't like artists like that. Yes, a lot of art can come from a lot of great art especially can come from a place of hurt and everything. But I know this for a fact, and I'm just gonna sound like I also have an ego too, but I know a lot of artists don't try when it comes to art. And then they do like some lazy ass thing, and the art isn't about the actual art itself. The art is about the backstory behind this. I really want to swear because of how angry I am when it comes to this subject. It's more about the backstory, about what you write on a piece of paper, than the actual art you're presenting to your audience. When you put an artwork out there, unless someone makes a crazy theory about it, in my opinion, I think, at least for my art, that art should speak for itself, and that you should let the audience interpret what it is. Unless it's some crazy thing that gets like a popular theory on it, then you can go in and you can say, no, the art is not about that. But you should let your audience interpret, hey, what does this mean? Especially if you're going to make a piece that's more I say abstract. And The Menu for me kind of represents the staleness of modern art, which is why I'm recommending The Menu for 2022. Watch it, and it is a great film, dialogue-wise and all that. Sorry about the rant, but that's my recommendation. Please enjoy it. Bye. JoJo Stone Ocean. Oh God. I should definitely. I'm too lazy to actually try this because I'm working out. Between workouts, I'm recording the audio. But JoJo, Part 6, Stone Ocean, it's pretty great. I heard a lot of people don't like this, but I'm not really like too keen on the community. I don't really care that much. I enjoy what I enjoy. End of story. I don't really care if other people enjoy it. I mean, if they have a dumb or opinion I disagree with, then I'll be like, oh, okay, that's kind of dumb. I'm not going to go out of my way to fight them. So, I really enjoyed Stone Ocean. I thought it was great. And especially the whole Father Pucci. He was a pretty great villain for this. In general, I always enjoy JoJo. I'm a fan of episodic type stories. Samurai Jack is one of my favorite shows of all time. I mean, well, that's because I just kind of grew up in that Cartoon Network age of episodic storytelling, but... Oh, God. Okay. So, JoJo Stone Ocean, man, goes from a Florida prison to... It's just Florida, man. If you think about it, this is one of the most wild seasons, and it's pretty violent. I'd say it is definitely up there with one of my favorites. I know everybody loves Part 5, but for me, I think this is better, especially because I like the villain way more in this season. He was great. And the way it like goes to the past and ties back to the other seasons is also great, even though they all do that. But this is definitely for me one of my top JoJo seasons, or parts, as they say. The art is always great. Character designs I love. They're so goofy and out there, and you always you recognize, boom, hey, I recognize that guy, or boom, I recognize that girl. Jolene is definitely one of my favorite protagonists too. I really liked her in this. Really liked her in this show, and all I know is that people are saying Steel Ball runs great. Pretty hyped for that. I think recently they announced it. So, oh my goodness, sorry, I'm out of breath right now. But oh my gosh, this show. If you want to see essentially a crazy show full of characters who you don't know whether or not they're gonna live by the end, and each season has a new villain, new stakes, and there is power, kind of like a power creep, but at the same time they even find someone you think would have a useless power, they're OP. The show is great. I definitely recommend. Okay, not sure if I said, but the last was number 5 for I recommend, the JoJo. This for I recommend 2022. It's number 4, Primal. Man, Genndy Tartakovsky. I feel like I'm saying everybody's name wrong on this. The man is a genius. That's all I gotta say. I already mentioned before that I'm a big fan of Samurai Jack. Whew. All I gotta say is Primal. It lives up to Samurai Jack levels, even higher. I watch this show with my family because it's just so damn good. It's a show with barely any dialogue, yet it gets all its points across perfectly. It's perfect to a minute detail. As I think that's the Homelander line, but I absolutely love this show. It is, but I like the ending. It's kind of a sudden ending, similar to Samurai Jack, but I definitely like it. It didn't leave me going oh, that's it. I would love to see more in this world, but hey, things gotta end, and I thought they gave the ending a proper conclusion. Just if you want to watch a show about, I'll say, Conan the Barbarian at his most brutal, with a damn dinosaur by his side, watch Primal. It's just perfect. I can't give this show any higher praise, and the only reason it's number 4 on the list is because it had because it's a show, and it also the first season came out the previous year, and season 2 I was like, okay, season 1's pretty hype. I don't know how they're gonna live up to season 2. Season 2 did it it doesn't have as much dinosaurs as the first season, but it makes up for it in other ways. That's for damn sure. And I'm pretty happy with the way this arc came out. I think it represents Primal just fine. I would definitely say watch Primal. If you're a fan of cartoons, you're a fan of just like good old action and storytelling, watch Primal. It will never leave you disappointed. Each episode is... It also does that episodic, but with a main story, but like... You don't have these characters explain to you, oh, whoa, this happened. No, they just take action. They simply act. I love this show. I can't give it any more praise, and if ever I get a chance to talk about it, I will gush about it because it's just that damn good. So, yeah, watch this show. You will not be disappointed. I give this like one of my highest recommends, and probably each year I'm gonna make like a tradition because the episodes are short. They're like 20 minutes. I'll probably like keep a tradition of just like, hey, it's around this time, let's watch Primal. It's just a good show just to like watch, kick back if your family or like whoever you're with doesn't really mind shows that are that violent, but like have fun action. I would definitely watch it because it is entertaining and it has jokes in it too. It's just a classic cartoon. That's all I gotta say. Thank you, Gennady Tartakovsky, and there's my piece. Go watch it. And I believe at the number 3 spot of I Recommend of 2022 is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So for this drawing, I don't know, like, it was kind of hard for me to decide on a poster to draw for Puss in Boots. So I kind of just threw something together really fast. I kind of like what I did with it, especially with the rainbow crap, but this movie, certified banger. It was great. I really enjoyed The Last Wish. I thought that overall it did really well, and I have basically no complaints about the movie. I thought it was a great film from beginning to end. A lot of comedy. It's if you watch the first Puss in Boots, it's basically like that. It's DreamWorks gold. It's definitely reminiscent of like older films, especially children's films that have a good message that you would want to teach your kids. And especially with like standing up for yourself, not running away, finishing what needs to be done, and just kind of not being an asshole. And I swore. I hope that's not the first time I swore in this thing. It probably is, but it was a great film. I really enjoyed it. The animation was great. Puss in Boots, it's always fun to see him on screen. I hope to get more of that like little universe they got going with all these fairy tale characters, because it works. It just works. And even though I was a grown-ass man watching this movie, I found a lot of joy in it. It was well done, good messages. Each character has like a point in the story. Jack Horner is a great villain because he's just evil for the sake of evil, and we need more villains like that. I'm so tired of sympathetic villains. They suck. You should only have a sympathetic villain once in a while. Not every villain has to be sympathetic. I'm looking at you, Demon Slayer. I don't care about that they just died and now they're getting a backstory. Oh my god. No, but overall, Last Wish is definitely where it's at. I would recommend it if you're an animation fan and if you're just a fan of good films. All right, and for second place on the I Recommend of 2022 had to go to Better Call Saul Season 6. What an absolute banger of a show. And I think it's got a really great ending. I'm already a huge fan of Breaking Bad. I've watched that show like I think I'm on like 6 times, maybe 5. Even though, yeah, sometimes I forget some crap, but man, those shows are great to always come back to every now and then. And Better Call Saul, like, first I watched it with my family, right? And I went, damn, this is pretty good. And then right after that, my friend didn't watch it, and boom, we watched it right after that. And I would have been down just to watch it a third time because I liked it that much. I basically watched the same show back to back and I had no complaints. Better Call Saul Season 6 especially. I'm not going to say any spoilers because I believe you should watch the whole show. But as I stated before, a lot of shows, they don't get that high because they are a season and they have previous material. So, you know, it's not as fair for other shows, but Better Call Saul was just that good that I thought it deserved second place, especially with like how how it ends and just how it ties everything together. I don't think there will ever be a show kind of like it. It's got so many great elements to it. The whole lawyer aspect is interesting, and you know, a lot of people, they wouldn't find that aspect as interesting in a show, but Better Call Saul does it perfectly. So you're surprised when like some other shows don't take from it. And the whole cartel aspect too. Oh my. Whew. Especially with the introduction of Lalo. One of my favorite villains in the Breaking Bad like universe. I loved Lalo, and even though he's like a villain that you don't see within even though he's a villain that you do not see in Breaking Bad, his presence in Better Call Saul is amazing because you don't know what he'll do. And you're like, okay, I know these characters will survive, but there's some characters you're just like, I've never seen this guy before. Is this guy going to stay alive? Is this guy going to die? And it does add tension there, which is very hard for a prequel to do. So, good damn. I can't give the show enough praise, especially with God, I sound like an idiot. Especially with what Peter Gould and Vince Gilligan have done. You know, they've made a fan out of me. So I can't wait to see future projects that they do, because they literally make a little bit of a spoiler, but they literally make Saul or Jimmy when he's jobless interesting. Like, dude, you're making like a dude so down on his luck trying to get jobs interesting. Like, how? It's a great show. I highly recommend it. And just get on it. What are you doing? Why are you watching this? All right. And finally, number 1 and my favorite media out of movies and shows of 2022 is The Northman. I am a big fan of Robert Eggers, seeing The Witch or The Witch and The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse, personally, is one of my favorite films of all time. It is that good. So, The Northman, will I say it lives up to The Lighthouse? No. I won't even say it. I'll say it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like better because it's a different, like entirely different genre of movies, you know. But it is great. It is basically it's like a Viking folktale almost, like what, Vikings are Norwegian, so like a Norwegian folktale of revenge. And it's kind of funny because it if I remember right, there's like a bunch of Viking media in 2022. Primal is one, The Northman, and God of War. I believe there was another one, but I can't really remember. And The Northman to me just stood out, especially because, okay, one, I'm biased, I'm a Robert Eggers fan, and two, I just really like this whole kind of almost fairy tale like presence that this film brings. And the visuals are simply beautiful. The whole time it kept me engaged. It is a slow film. It's not fast. It takes its time. It wants to get its point across. It's not like extremely gory either. There is a part with like extreme gore, but it's not done in like, oh, look how horrifying and shocking it is. It's done in a really classy way, and it's like a point to show in the story. And I'm just, oh gosh, I just love the fact that this film has one of those like it's kind of like a cycle of vengeance, and at the end, I don't want to spoil what happens, but it you know, the circle kind of closes because he doesn't do it for a certain reason. He does it for two reasons. But overall, it's just it's one of those films that like I always go back to. I will always enjoy. And I don't know, man. It's just like when I saw that, I was like, damn, I want to get built like that guy, like the Northman. I think for me, it's definitely a highlight of 2022. I wish it got more people noticing it, but I even acknowledge that some people, they won't get it. They'll just think it's like a very generic type story. But hey, people got different tastes. You can't help everyone, you know what I'm saying? So would I recommend The Northman? Most definitely. I think the artwork I did doesn't give it enough justice. I also did this very fast because I basically had to go to boot camp before I injured myself like an idiot there and came back home. So yeah. I might draw more Northman material in the future. Who knows? I really enjoyed it. But overall, I recommend Northman, and that's my number one movie. Have a good day.